Pisces, how are you, darlings? I'm going to go ahead and continue with the July August because we're at the end of July and I've already committed it. I've already committed to having all the signs with a part one and a part two. Um, you can watch either one at any time, but the second one is mainly August. Oh, these cards are thin. Oh, I slept with them. That's why. Something happened. One of them got banned. Pisces, how are you, darlings? Last time we had a Mercury retrograde, it was in your sign. And that was deep. And this one is too. Oh, I just want to also say that if their connection starts to get very glitchy here, I'm gonna stop it and just record a video. I'm just letting you know now because it gets a little bit problematic. Yesterday I was patient with was it Sag or Gemini? And we stuck it out. Hi. Hello, darling. How are you? All right, let me just continue to shuffle. So I'm using the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. So this is going to be an Oracle reading, and your part two will be Tarot, okay? Pisces, right? All right. Let me cut it for you. Secrets. Venus and Scorpio, which is where the next retrograde will be. So Venus and Scorpio, I thought of this card earlier today before I even came here to do this reading for you. And I was just thinking about it because like a lot of my relationships have been um, very scorpionic, very plutonic, very Venetian as well. My sun is in my 12th house, which is the house that Pisces rules, right? That Pisces governs. So I guess this could be for me as well because I do say when I give the readings, I usually base the astrological projections or the reasoning behind it's set from the first house. So if you hear me go first, second, third, seventh, eighth, ninth, it's coming from the first house of the sign that I'm reading for. Okay, so this is definitely going to resonate with a lot of Pisces rising, definitely Pisces sun, and Pisces moon as well. But because Pisces rules the 12th house, if you have your sun in your 12th house astrologically in your natal chart, then this is also a reading for you. Okay, so I've already cut it. Everything's fine. The eights are talking about power. They're talking about control. They're talking about weaknesses and struggle and the willingness or the need to transform. Or maybe something is transforming you. Maybe your relationship is transforming you, right? Maybe there's some transformative karma that's taking place here. Scorpio is an elongated arachnid, right? So Scorpio, the feeling and the energy that we get from that, from relating to that, can be kind of creepy sometimes, you know? But spiders are also very like sexy, right? They're like a very sexual symbol, right? Because when you think about the Black Widow, right, it sort of like pulls its prey in. I think the video might even do something weird now, but it pulls its prey in and then she goes in for the kill. You know what I mean? So that's a secret. That's something that's hidden. You don't really realize what you're getting into until you've gotten into it, right? And you don't really realize what something was for until you've gotten out of it, right? But then it's also talking about, Venus is love and pleasure. It's also romance. It's peace and harmony as well. So this is saying that secrets might be creating some disharmony and maybe even some toxicity in a relationship. I feel like also some of you or some of us, right? if you're the cross watcher, you might be thinking that there are some secrets that are being kept. If you're the Pisces, maybe you are keeping secrets, or you might be feeling like there are some secrets or some hidden things that are there, within a relationship. And it's also making it more toxic. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going on. There are a lot of things to choose from. There are a lot of things to blame. There are a lot of people to blame. There's a lot of reasoning. You know what I mean? We don't want to point the finger. And Venus is actually exalted um, in Pisces, right? So you definitely know a thing or two about wanting to create harmony and wanting to have that one-on-one connection. I feel like the one-on-one connection might be being sacrificed, right? Just because of the things that are unknown or the secrets or the pain or maybe some things from the past that might be affecting the present, right? And then it's an eight, so it's talking about expansion and contractions, highs and lows, feeling good and then not feeling good, right? Good days, some days are good and some days are not good within this relationship. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe some things may not be verbalizing because, eight does have something to do with Mercury. You know what I mean? The infinity symbol is related to Leo. The infinity symbol is related to what other signs has the infinity symbol? Um, Obviously Scorpio, because it's talking about transformation, because when you've gone out and you've come back in and then you go out again, you almost transform, right? It's that intersection where the eight is crossed in the middle, right? And there's also a play of strength here. You know what I mean? I feel like some people are having to like put up a front that they feel like something may not be bothering them, but it probably is. The secret is that you're hiding what is bothering you, right? Some people, it's almost like somebody is keeping their apology secret too. It's almost like somebody might want to apologize about something, or you may want to apologize about something, but it's like you're keeping it to yourself because, you feel like it'll be like a weakness, right? Or somebody might feel weak within giving their apology, or somebody could give a weak apology. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. It really is just talking about relationships from the past as well, and all of the different things that have affected a relationship. And it's talking about, when you get in a relationship, you start to uncover things about the other person that you probably wouldn't have uncovered if you didn't have this one-on-one connection that involves depth. You know what I mean? Where are we? 7 minutes. Okay. Um, Let me move on because I'm really just reading the card that's at the bottom. Let me do this. I always go center, left, right, middle, center, left, right, bottom, foundation, what you know, center, left, right at the top, basically what's coming and what is to be expected, right? But then I can also read it any other kind of way, diagonally up and down. It's kind of how I read the Lenormand, right? Restlessness, Mercury and Aries. Mercury is a fast moving planet and it goes about a lot, right? And I talked about Mercury being retrograde in your sign, okay? So this is kind of like the last time we had Mercury retrograde in Pisces, what was going on? I feel like there was a lot of emotions, there was a lot of instability of emotions, right? Things occurring, confusion, all of that type of things, all of those things. And there was restlessness there as well. But then it went into the first house where it continued, right? It was debilitated when it was in your sign, Mercury was. So then it went into Aries, where, it was moving forward and it was bringing some things, to the forefront, right? Forehead, right? There were some things that were really apparent to you in your mind, right? In your awareness, because Aries is talking about the awareness, right? Your awareness was initiated after that Mercury retrograde in Pisces, because now it's in your second house where it's not debilitated, but where it also rules esoterically. So Mercury can get a lot done. It is very initiative, right? So you might have taken the initiative in some kind of way to bring awareness to yourself or to bring awareness to another person, right? Or you might be wanting to get the awareness or get the attention, because Aries does want attention. It is the sun is exalted in Aries, right? And and Mercury rules Aries esoterically. So this is a very like heightened energy with Mercury being in Aries right here. It's talking about you. You are becoming restless about something. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not getting rest. Maybe you're not getting the sleep that you need. You know what I mean? And this is also talking about, what is this right here? Directions, right? So this is talking about going in all of the directions, right? Because Aries wants to move forward, right? Bam. But Mercury is going all about, all about, all about. So it's almost saying that you need to focus, right? It's saying that whatever you are, your intentions aren't being met by you because you're thinking so much about all of the things, right? And you really just need to focus. You're creating distractions for yourself as well because Mercury is distracting, okay? And Aries is always going for whatever is in front of it, right? So you could be trying to go for whatever's in front of you, whatever that means. Aries is your second house of earned income. So this could be, you may be, well, some of you might be trying to go for whatever job is coming to you or whatever you see yourself. You know what I mean? It's just like taking almost anything on. In Aries, it's talking about sexual energy as well, but not as much as Scorpio is. But you do have a Scorpio card here, which has the planet of romance, right, and love in the sign of sex and secrets. And then you have Mercury here in Aries, which is talking about your instinct, right? Prime instinct. Um, you need to just settle down and you need to try to like cleanse some things, right? I feel like you also need to sort of like exhaust some of this energy that you might be having, some pent up energy you might be having based on whatever it is that you're feeling restless about. It could even have to do with work or you being the authority in your life and how you see yourself as the authority in your life. Do you feel like you are the authority in your life, right? I feel like there are some things from the past that are affecting the way that you see yourself now. And it's almost like, it could have been some things that were done because because Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars. So this is not being able to change some things, right? Mercury is mutable for Virgo and for Gemini. So some of you guys might be dealing with some Virgo, or you might just be feeling restlessness in your day-to-day life because Virgo is Mercury rules Virgo, and Virgo is talking about, consistency, right? And health and building healthy habits and things like that. So your restlessness could be getting in the way of you initiating healthy habits, right? And it could be getting in the way of, you clearing out some of the muck in your relationships. And that's what needs to happen, right? Because it's distracting you, it's distracting your work. I feel like you're distracted all around. You know what I mean? This is a compass that shows all the different, it's not just north, south, east, and west. It's giving all of 360, right? So it's talking about coming full circle as well, back to the beginning of something. You know what I mean? Um, It also talks about being woke to something as well, realizing what is really happening. Because Aries is happening, Mercury is happening, things are being done, right? But are the things that are being done going to be pivotal to you getting what you want or having you transform or you feeling good about everything that has happened, right? Since you're doing all the things, you feel good about all the things that are happening, right? It really is talking about focus, determination, and it's also talking about planning. It's also talking about, um, a comprehensive understanding of how to make relationships work. Not by force, but by intention, right? And also by, just kind of like being open, right? And being receptive. You're going to experience some things that don't feel good. You are. But there's nothing that you can do about that, right? You just kind of have to go with the flow of those feelings, and that's what that infinity sign is there is for as well. And these are a series of knots here, right? So it could have to do with massage therapy. It could, this card just fell into my hand. I'll look at it later. It might have to do with massage your body, right? Or there's just tension in your body, right? And the secrets are creating tension because look at the body of this I think is this Horus? I gotta look that up again. But look at the musculature in this figure here, right? These are like knots, okay? And holding stuff in. And these are actually knots here. Very beautiful ones. But that's talking about tension and things being held in. You know what I mean? Some things need to be let go of, right? Some people will never, like I said, some people will never express, right, what it is that they want to so deeply, right? You may not even be able to. And that is sad, right? And it's also admitting to some things too, to yourself, right? And it's also admitting things to other people. But that's not the important thing. It's really about admitting things to yourself, you know? And this is creating it's like how perpendicular lines, it's almost like no place to go here, right? Anyway, choose the direction you want to go in. Protection, moon in Aries. Okay, another Aries. So Mars is very significant here. Mars right now, is it in Leo? I think it is. If not, it's in Cancer in the later degrees. I should have looked at the planets today before I did this reading, since I'm always talking about astrology. But you could be, keeping things to yourself out of protection, or someone could be keeping secrets out of a need to protect themselves, right? It's an instinct to protect yourself, right? Because you're probably going to be affected by whatever it is that you are holding on to, protecting your secrets. That's fine. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of you Pisceans out there are protecting yourself from the predators or the people, the trolls, the people that are feeding off of your energy. You know what I mean? Or you need to protect yourself from people that are feeding off of your energy. You know what I mean? Because people are just going to consume because people are consumers. You know, the moon is ruled by Cancer, right? Which is where I believe Mars is right now, and Mercury is there as well. And that is opposite Capricorn, which the sign, the Mars, right, is exalted in Capricorn. And right now you have the two signs that are ruled, excuse me, ruled by Mars, Scorpio and Aries, in your reading. So it's talking about karma, right? You could be protecting yourself um, in all of the things that you feel like you are sensitive to and you're vulnerable to. You know, like I said, people will feed off of your energy, and Capricorn is the consumer. You know what I mean? And this tiger in this card will eat these babies if it gets a chance to. So it's saying that there are individuals out there that aren't going to be for you, right? They just want what they want, right? Because Aries just wants what it wants. And the moon wants to nurture and it wants to share and it wants to embrace, right? Aries doesn't necessarily want to embrace, you know. Um yeah, let me just go ahead. Right, tiger stripes, right? Okay. So I'm getting like, you know, a tiger is a lion with stripes, right? So it's almost kind of like there's illusion here because the moon is also talking about illusion. So you may be unclear of who an individual is. So you're trying to protect yourself from that individual, or you might be clear as a result of your intuition, right? Because the moon is very uh, connected to Pisces. So out of your intuition, right, you might know what the outcome of a situation might be, right? So you're protecting that outcome by keeping something secret, right? And it's making some people restless. It's making you restless in your mind. It's driving you crazy. Okay. Saturn in Cancer. This is charity. Okay. And this is talking about understanding when you need to give something up, right? When you need to let something go. Understand what lesson you're learning, right? And I just talked about Saturn ruling Capricorn. With Saturn being in Cancer, it's debilitated, right? It's like in its fall. So it's not really working very well. You're not able to nurture and experience the way that you feel like you want to. It almost feels like there's so much work to put into something that you feel like you're not getting anything out of right now. Like I said, Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn is the consumer, and the consumer wants now. Okay? And it's saying that you may not be able to have that thing now, right? And it might be making you feel, emotionally insecure, right? Um, you know, it's saying that you have to give something up, right? Because usually when you are charitable, that means that you're giving something up, right? It's not surrendering anything. It's saying that I am giving this thing up because I know it's for the best, right? And Cancer is the mother, right? It's the sign that mothers. It's the sign that is protective of, its emotions, right? It's also a very instinctual sign, right? It wants to acknowledge stability, but emotional stability. Anyway, Saturn is the karmic teacher. It is the enforcer of rules and laws, and it also is how you are governing your emotions. Okay. Um, by this card being charity, it's saying that you're definitely going to have to understand that something is going to be for the best, even if it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like letting something go. Because, you know, Cancer is talking about evolution, emotional evolution, and Saturn is talking about physical evolution, right? And, you know, growth, substantial growth emotionally, right? So you guys could be experiencing some emotional growth due to something that you feel like you had to sacrifice that you actually wanted to foster, right? Or something that you once fostered, or something that you once nurtured that brought you stability, you had to give up, or something that made you feel like you had a purpose, right? Because, mothering something and nurturing something makes you feel like you have a purpose, and then you value that thing that you're able to nurture because it makes you feel like you are giving it something. You are giving back to something. But are you doing it for the right reasons, right? Oh my God. Enthusiasm, Sun and Sagittarius. Okay, so this is good. This is saying that you were enthusiastic about something, right? And the nines also talk about, Sagittarius is talking about gassing something up and something maybe seeming bigger than it is. You know what I mean? It's almost like you could be living in like a dream world, right? And that's where your enthusiasm was coming from because you were projecting something that you thought would probably be. The ninth house is talking about your belief systems and how it affects you and where you go in the world, right? Sagittarius is, religion, right? And it's also, practices of religious studies, you know. And then it's also talking about how you get from one place to another. It's not necessarily elitism or feeling elite, but it's feeling like growth. It's talking about spiritual growth. So there is enthusiasm within the spiritual process that you are going through, because the ninth house does talk about processes. Actually, Jupiter there is right there right now, and this energy, I believe, is squaring you. And you know, you both are ruled by the same planet, so Jupiter being in Sagittarius is actually beneficial for you right now. It's retrograde, so it's going through a feeling of contraction, right? Because it's talking about expansion and it's talking about a contraction. So you are expanding within this moment of contraction, right? Um, but it's saying that there is something that you're going to get towards, that you're going to move into, right? Because the sun is bringing energy and focus to like your goal, right? The energy, what's going. I feel like the travel is in the future as well for some of you, right? Going somewhere, movement. Um, you know, it's also just learning about different cultures, right? There could be just a difference of culture, right? Some of you could be enthusiastic about different cultures. Um, Yes, let me just flip over other cards in this row so that I can see. Oh, another Sag card, Mercury in Sagittarius and Sun in Sagittarius. So this is talking about movement. It is talking about travel. It is talking about also going inward and having these discoveries of self, right? Because this is a discovery of self, right? It's your thought process, it's your mind. You're having these discoveries in your mind that are bringing focus to how you might be changing the trajectory, right? And it's what are your goals? Your goals might even be changing, right? Because Mercury is mutable, it's adapting to things, it's changeable, right? Neither here nor there. So you may not be locked into something fully right now, and in terms of your mind, you know, there are no Libra cards here, but you know, you could. I'm feeling like on the fence, right? Because Mercury being in Sagittarius, that's Mercury being in the seventh house. So you could be, and also being in the seventh house and being debilitated, right? So you could be having some things in your mind that you haven't made a move on, or that you haven't felt like you've wanted to do yet. But it's almost kind of like, you know, there's something debilitation within a relationship, right? Um, you're discovering things in your mind that might be changing your, you know, the philosophy about a relationship, right? Or the promise of something might have changed, you know, for sure. Ostentation. Oh, when I get this card, I'm always like, oh, huh. So ostentation is like putting up a front, right? Saturn is teaching Taurus to not just focus on what things look like, but to really focus on what things actually are. Because the second house, Taurus rules the second house. Your second house, Pisces, is Aries. You have two Aries cards here: protection and restlessness, right? And you could be feeling like you want to protect yourself, right? And you are restless because of some need to protect yourself. And also, you are putting up a front because you're trying to protect yourself, and it's making you anxious because you know you're putting up a front. And also, you're learning lessons about like how to deal with your money. Your money might be feeling restricted right now, or you might be feeling restricted in terms of what you feel like you're able to enjoy, because Taurus does like to enjoy the pleasures, right? You might be having to think of creative ways to enjoy things, right? To feel the decadence of life, right? That type of thing. Or, you might be feeling less decadent because it's almost like, you might look like you're everything is good and everything is very Marie Antoinette, perhaps, but really, what's happening is like what's being reflected is that, but what is actually happening is that you're feeling challenged, right? You're having to do a lot of work to make things look like they are working for you. Um, right. This is being challenged, but not making it look like you're being challenged. Listen, I said I have Sun in 12th house, and Pisces rules out, so I'm gonna go back and listen to this because I'm serious. Um, you know, it's like just be real. You know what I mean? Just be real. It's being real with yourself and being real with others because it's a two, right? Taurus is the second house. Oh, these cars are beautiful, but I gotta fix the lighting. But it's natural light, that's why. And I have a candle right here, so I don't want to like burn my cards. You would see me have a meltdown. Not really, because I can get these again. Okay, let me look at what else we're working with here. Speculation, Jupiter and Cancer. This card comes out a lot, right? This is like you're feeling actually overwhelmingly um maybe causing you to feel emotionally insecure. You know what I mean? It's like the expansiveness of the intuition, the growth of the intuition, right? It's almost like your intuition is kind of like on. You might be like, and that's this protection card is here as well. You have three Cancer cards that are creating a trine here, right? Sort of like a triangle, basically. But this is saying that you might be just kind of like stagnant. You might be emotionally stagnant, not moving, right? You don't feel like your emotions are changing. Um, and for some of you, your speculation has grown so much that now it's like your intuition has brought a certain stability to whatever it is that you're feeling, right? Which is making it more real. Um, I don't know where that's coming from because there's nothing that I'm seeing in the card that's making me say that. Um, Also, yeah, you might even need to bring some flowers into your space. You know what I mean? Or maybe flowers are in your space. And there's something speaking to your subconscious here, right? Emotionally, you're having these reflections, big reflections. You're feeling your your intuition, empathic, intuitive self. Some things are very apparent to you right now. These are all of the signs in the zodiac here, and there's an eye in the center of it, right? So it really is talking about the growth of your intuition, right? Moon and Capricorn, practicality. Fortune, Sun and Leo. Okay, practicality. This is the moon being in the house that it is debilitated in. Okay, so we have quite a few debilitations. And opposition, right? Right. Even here with Venus being in Scorpio, Venus is still in a sign that it's debilitated in. So the secrets are making things difficult, right? What you're figuring out in your mind, right? And what you are projecting in your mind and discovering from those projections that you're making your mind out of the speculation that you're having that comes from the growth of your intuition and your empathic self is making you feel restless, and now you're protecting yourself because you know something is real. Okay? And the moon is talking about hidden things, right? But this is the moon in Capricorn, which is, the moon being in the 10th house. Okay? My moon is actually in my 10th house. you know sometimes you can't really you sometimes it's not about ignoring your feelings, but it's about not letting your feelings always govern you and govern your reality, because sometimes you do have to be practical, right? And sometimes your feelings and your emotions may not align with the actual reality, right? And that's why feelings are so challenging. Okay? And that you got a Scorpio card here, a Venus and Scorpio, and Venus is talking about relationships and romance and yourself, right? Loving yourself, right? And not keeping things from yourself. Not, you know, your relationships are meant to transform you. And sometimes, you know, it is what it is. And the karma in the relationships that you experience is meant to teach you something about life. It's meant to teach you something about yourself. It's not meant to challenge you in ways that makes you think that you are in a fight with life. You know what I mean? That's why, Scorpio and, courage and weakness and transformation, those things aren't easy, because sometimes you have to let go of what you thought was and realize that you have to embrace what is, right? And that's being practical, okay? They're planning things to make them grow, because you have to work on things if you want to see any productivity or progress. You know what I mean? And this is almost like, it's not the opposite, but this practicality card and this ostentation card, it's the moon and it's Saturn. Those are opposite planets, right? The moon is actually exalted in Taurus. Okay? So it is talking about honoring what works for you, right? Honoring what works based on how you govern your life. And how you govern your life is based on what works. You know what I mean? If something works, then it works. If it doesn't work, then why are you trying to make it work? And if something does work, why are you putting it on the shelf? Or why are you giving it away to get another thing that was really not that thing, or just like that thing? It's, you know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's the wrong model, then maybe you will have to return it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's what the ostentation card is talking about. You know what I mean? It's like when you put up a front, it's the wrong model. You need to return that and really go back to what actually is. Because Taurus is talking about realities, Saturn is talking about reality, right? Stable, committed, right? What can you commit yourself to? And what can't you commit yourself to? Seriously. And there are things that you shouldn't commit yourself to that are unhealthy, right? Sun in Leo here is talking about Leo season, basically. So when we move into Leo season, Mercury, we're in Leo season. The sun is here. So it's right now it's talking about, understanding what is, listening to your heart too, right? Bringing some focus and some energy and passionate strength to committing yourself to what is, right? It's committing yourself to yourself, right? It's being truthful to yourself, right? It's the fifth house, and it's also related to, Taurus, right? Because Taurus is the fifth month, which is May. Um, you might be dead. This is Leo. So some of you guys might be dealing with a Leo sun. You may be fortunate to um, to be to be with the Leo or be around the Leo energy, or the Leo energy is going to benefit you right now and in the long run. You know what I mean? The Leo energy is bringing focus to something in your life that actually is, right? That actually I'm just getting, you know what I mean? Because the sun in Leo is really talking about you and, your being and yourself. So think about yourself and what is practical for you, right? Innovation, Jupiter and Aquarius. Okay. So this is change of perspective, the growth of your perspective. Um the 11th house is talking about gains, right? But it's talking about friendships as well. So you might have to change your outlook on a friendship. Um, the 11th house is also talking about, it is talking about gains in friendship, right? You could be gaining a friend, and this is the growth of a friendship, perhaps. But innovation is talking about making something better by changing it, right? And the 11th house is talking about balancing something out, right? It's a very mentally alchemical energy, okay? And there's that infinity sign again. Aquarius. Sorry. See that? And it really is talking about changing things. Innovation. Jupiter is saying yes, because Jupiter says yes to everything. And Aquarius is changing up things. It's making things, better by acknowledging and appreciating, all of the differences. You know what I mean? Because this is saying that, like, individuality is also something that is important for some of you. There are a lot of messages that come from one card. But all of these unks, one of them is different, right? Right here. Sorry. So this is just kind of like saying, a friendship, a relationship might be being changed. You might have to water it in a different way. It's talking about, Jupiter is allowing Aquarius, or Jupiter being in Aquarius is definitely trying a lot of things out. You know, you have to be willing to try new things. Okay. Um, New friends, reflections, balance. It's celebrating differences as well, right? To innovate is to change up the game. So some of you could be feeling like you want to make some things different. You might want to be in a more You might want to celebrate more of life's eccentricities. Some of you might be bored with the norm, you know. Um, it's definitely not being conservative, this card, right? All right, Pisces, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. I feel like this was a lot of messages. I mean, some things resonated with me right away. Some things resonated with me in terms of some Pisces people that I know. But then some things I was just like, I don't know where that came from. So I'll just read out the words for you. Discovery, you're discovering some things in your mind and it's helping you make some projections. You know what I mean? The sun is bringing some focus to, how your philosophies have changed based on those expansions and those discoveries that you're having in your mind. You know what I mean? Stop trying to put on a mask or put on a front or, make it seem like things are one way when they're actually another. You know what I mean? And that could be for whatever your situation is. You're protecting yourself emotionally, right? Also, in your mind, it's restless. You probably don't know which way you want to go, what you want to initiate. Saturn is in Cancer here for charity, which, Saturn is having to understand that it's going to have to take a look at its emotions, right, and its emotional stability, and do that work instead of just looking at what's external, right? It's the inner work, really, not the work outwardly. Um, the moon in Capricorn is debilitated, so it's almost like the moon is saying the work. Yeah, get the work done. It's like the moon is right here in Capricorn saying, do the work, do it differently. And then Saturn is in Cancer here, which is also debilitated, saying, do it differently. So, there could be some oppositions and some things that don't feel good to you or don't feel right to some of you. You definitely are having some growth in your feelings about something that you've speculated over time, over a cycle, and it might take a level of maturity for you to come to terms with whatever it is that's going to bring more stability to you, um, and emotional security. The sun in Leo here is talking about, this is a good time of year to focus on yourself, you know what I mean? And just concentrate on what it is that you feel like you want and what you need, you know what I mean? It's also attention, right? Bringing some attention to the things that you do well, right? So that we can come out of this rut. Bringing some attention to, romance, right? For some of you guys. Some of you might need to bring more of the romance back. Um, Also, changing up the game, right? Thinking of innovative ways to celebrate those different parts of yourself, growth, changing your look, perhaps, right? Anyway, Pisces, I'm going to let it go here because I've talked for long enough. I love you all. I read at Shanti Bookshop and Crystal Gallery on Sundays from 12 to 4 on East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. The address is 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues in New York City and Manhattan. Um, I'm a Pilates instructor in New York too, so if you want to get a, Grand Slam class, then, you know, I teach at Pilates Habitat in a place called Pilates on the Square. I've never told anyone that. Here, at least. Um, I'm still doing the 20 for 20 for the rest of July. You only have a few more days, less than a week to do that. It's a 20-minute reading for $20. What else is there? Follow me on Instagram. I'm NYC Kendrick. I'm also Kendrick NYC. And I'm Providence Tarot. And I am the Tongue Pop. Okay? So I think that's everything, you guys. Check the description box if you ever want to donate to the channel. I usually leave that information there. Sometimes I'll post a video and not put things in the description box just because I'm rushing off somewhere. I got a lot of Sag placements. Um, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys very soon.